time working on some projects, I get maybe sidetracked, but maybe not really sidetracked. Like I said before, I'm kind of ADHD, so I have to do a bunch of different jobs at one time. So one of the things I'm working on is this car. Is a car I built for a friend probably about 20 years ago, and he had it for a while, didn't drive it much, and I ended up buying it back off of him probably 15 years after he had it, but it basically sat in his barn for way over a decade, and in that time stuff happens, it gets dirty, and it was basically a barn car. So one of the things I'm working on in between other jobs is sort of just fluffing up the inside of this car, and you can see that one of the things I'm going to do is recoat the floor pan. I got really a theme of dealing with floor pans lately, but I want to put a fresh coat of rust encapsulator paint on it. The metal's in good shape, but just had moisture somehow under the rubber mat. So I wire wheeled it. I've cleaned it with degreaser, and now I'm going to put a coat of this. This paint actually bonds with rust, and that'll seal it up and make it nice and clean again like it was new. It'll make me feel good that it's shiny underneath the carpet. Another glamorous job. There I go. Oh wait, I forgot to mix the paint. I got excited about it. So I did what I'm doing. Always use your tools to mix your paint. Watch this trick. I'll wipe that bad boy off later. Check it out. Come on. Simple brush coat of paint makes it look like it's a Grand National champion. Maybe not that good. Looks way better there, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And it'll do the trick. And it's under the seat, and it's under the carpet, so it doesn't really matter. But there is this nice steering wheel. And there's that nice her shifter.
Any stories with that?
Which one? Stories with everything. The steering wheel is a MP brand accessory steering wheel from probably late 60s, early 70s. And it had a fake wood grain, cracked rim. I fixed the crack, made it black because that's what I wanted. And that her shifter was a kind of a ratty one that was, I think, actually made for a Datsun. And I unsoldered it and shortened it and bent it more and soldered it back together and painted the color I wanted. Make what I want.
How about your shirt?
How about it? Skate shirt in honor of Jeff Grasso, one of the coolest skaters ever. R.I.P. R.I.P. So that's what I got to show you for now. I want to tell you a little bit about a car that I'm working on today. So this is a 57 Porsche Speedster. It's a replica. I'm not the kind of guy that has an original one. But I built this car over 20 years ago for a friend of mine, and it was a really, really fun build. It was fun for me. I think it was fun for him too. But it took over 4 years to do it because I do all this stuff in my spare time. But anyway, getting to the story about what I'm doing on it. So I always have a list of jobs in my head. I should probably have them written down on a whiteboard. That's how like a really professional person would do it. That need to be done to all the different cars. And one thing that has been on my mind about this car is that the very first time when the car was finished, and my friend Barry that I built it for and I took it to a car show, we drove 2 hours in the pouring rain with no roof. And I always wondered, where the water went. And so long story short, years and years later, I bought the car back from him, and I was doing some other jobs on it, including taking the engine out to have all the seals freshened up because it sat for 15 years. And while I was doing that, my typical ADHD, I pulled the driver's seat out so I could look at the floor, and nothing was hurt, but the floor was surface rusty and dirty, so I ended up taking the driver's side interior out, pulled the carpet back, wire brushed the floor, put rust converter treatment on it, and then painted it with a rust encapsulator coating. And in the meantime, I lubed the seat tracks and got everything working right. So this car is basically a car I built but turned into a barn car because Barry enjoyed it for a couple of years and then lost interest, and then it sat for 15 years. So over the last, how long? We've had it for 5? Melissa and I got the car back probably 6 years ago now, and we've been driving and enjoying it, but I've been trying to fix things that it needs to have serviced because it's sat for so long. So this year it got my friend Tom Simpson freshened up the engine, which makes me really happy. And I'm trying to get some of the stuff done that it needs as far as just, it would be routine maintenance. And I changed some of the styling on it. You can see that it has my favorite wheels. These are just 70s or 80s Porsche 6-inch Fuchs wheels, 6x15s. And my favorite part, Melissa couldn't believe it when she came and saw what I did, these long Mustang racing studs. She asked if they were going to get cut, and I said I paid extra for the long ones.
Because I know.
She loves them now. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. And it's funny, I went and got Melissa and I said, I did this car 24 years ago or whatever, and when I put the seats in, I had shims, which raise the height of things, under the seat in certain spots, and I had in my box of things from when I took it apart. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember why I put shims under the seat, so I slowed myself down, I looked at it, and I could see that the left side of the seat was a little bit low, so apparently in my 40s I was way pickier than I am in my late 50s. So anyway, I put the shims back in. I honored my younger me and I put them back in. So I'm going to crawl under this thing and tighten the seats back up with my ratchet wrench. I did some clever stuff back then. I made these seatbelt mounts that get bolted with the seats.
I can't even get in here.
I think I was more clever back then. I think I've gotten dumber. Maybe I drank more coffee then or something. And the car's over a pit, and I'm too lazy to take the boards out and get down to the pit, so I'm just laying on my back. This car was so fun to build. Barry's a good designer, a great designer, and he taught me a lot about having a sort of a visualized plan of the car, a car. And he also would collect parts ahead of time, which is something I learned to do from him, instead of buying stuff as you go. And he insisted on using parts with patina on them, which when I was a young guy I refused to do, but now they're my favorite. Things like these door handles. I thought everything had to be brand new.
You did?
Yeah. When I was a young dude, everything had to be just right. What a pain.
What have I not have gotten along then? What are you doing under here? Oh my God.
Well, I was looking at Hot VW's magazine. I thought everything had to be a show car. And then through working on stuff and trying to keep a car like a show car for 20 years, I learned having a show car is not that fun. Unless you're into having a show car, which means you like cleaning it and taking care of it in that way. I like driving them, doing burnouts, breaking them, fixing them.
I can't quite see what you're doing under there, but
It's not that interesting. I'm just ratchet wrenching 13mm nuts back on these seat bases. It feels, yeah, man, it feels so good. Seriously,
Sorry.
it feels so much better mentally now that the floor is cleaned up.
yeah.
It drove me crazy. There were leaves in there from 2004. The cool thing about this, when he had it, he drove it and drove it hard. He drove it harder than I can drive it. So that side's done. Now I can do the whole thing over there again. I didn't put every single washer back in. I kept a couple out.
Because you want to make it sturdy or
I had to have had them in there for spacers.
cheap?
So I didn't really even think of it. But it's absolutely straight enough now. Oh, now it doesn't go back. Maybe I'm finding out why I had that spacer.
Light bulb?
Yep. This little thing has to be moved out of the way.
That's what?
See this little... This is what I was bragging about being clever about earlier, is actually in the way. My little seatbelt mount that I made.
I think I filmed the wrong thing. I was. What? That's why you needed.
No, it's
No.
two different things. The seatbelt mount is twisted and is hitting the rail. It's in the way of the slider.
When you back the seat up.
Yeah, let's see what I did on this side. I actually have to ask for help. Do this trick. As a spacer. And tighten it up with that in there. Go back underneath. Seriously, you get so used to working alone, it's like you gotta just figure stuff out.
Do you want me to hold anything?
Wouldn't be exciting.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, it takes me so much to think when I'm underneath which way do I turn the nut.
Yeah, lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Upside downy,
But
wrongy.
yeah, how do you do that?
I don't know. Did that screwdriver stay?
Let me see. So far, so good. So wait, you just move the piece. Oh.
Did it go past it or did it catch
No, it clocked.
Catched.
It don't call.
Alright, younger me, what did you do there? I know what older me's gonna do. Take it out and make the hole bigger. Move it out to the side more.
The seatbelt or the...
No, the bracket. See this bracket? Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's too close here.
Yeah, when that slides back.
Mm-hmm. And you can see I have
Is it
I have it.
bolt?
No, it's for safety. It's funny because this has this huge racing harness bolt, and then this is a 13 mil. I should just mount these here with big plates. That's what I should do.
Are they in the same hole right now?
Mm-hmm. I might actually redo it. Move the seatbelts back to their own hole with a big, gigantic tear-proof plate.
What, just bolt a thing to the floor or bolt it to the floor?
No, bolted to the floor with its own, basically
Its
a
own-
big giant square washer that spreads the load out in a bigger bolt.
Thinking.
I'm just trying to decide how I want to do it. Maybe I'll sleep on it. I'm gonna think about it. I'm perplexed. But while I'm here, can I tell you that my favorite thing in the world for a hot rod Volkswagen is the old school Hirsch shifters. I don't know how many people will agree with me, but they're the best. I made this one out of a way longer one, and I unsoldered it and changed the bend and yada 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 till the shift knob is right near the steering wheel. I like it. This is a kind of a rare steering wheel too. MP BDM, made in Germany. I know that's ugly and cracked, but it's super rare, so it stays. Or fairly rare. I have no idea how rare. It's rare. Rare enough. Alright, I'm going back to the think tank. That's enough of that.
I'm sorry, that picture freaks me. Do you want to explain that?
No. Explain what, the latch hook? It's a dumpster dive. My friend Andy was cleaning out his dad's house, and his dad was my art teacher in high school, and that's some art project somebody did from a Polaroid or some old picture of him and his brother. That's awesome.
Yes.
All it cost me was a dumpster dive. I'm not really proud to show you how I'm fixing this, but this is the size of the original mounting hole for the seatbelt bracket that mounts under the seat. And the problem was the seat track is for some reason now hitting on these. I can't remember how I fixed it years ago. And my fix is I made the hole bigger so I can slide it further out of the way.
Brilliant.
Yeah, lazy.
So you're...
Look at, see I'm using a broken drill bit. It's a step drill bit. Can you show the step hole? So I'll draw it from both sides. It drills at a taper because it's a step drill bit for drilling sheet metal. So it drills this size hole, then that, then that, then that, then that, depending on how far you go. But since this is thick, it drilled 3 different sizes of holes. So I turn it over and drill from the other side. Make it all one size hole. With my broken bit. Fixed it a better way, but this is how it's happening. Nothing to see here. All safety experts, look away. Off the edge of this, right here. That's the part that's hitting. That's me. It's my hair from my hand burning. Look at my knuckle hair. Can you see it? Burned off. I know. Should have gloves on. Yeah. They should come arrest me for my safety problems. Whoever they is. The safer people. A sanding disc. So I don't have to feel guilty leaving that crude they cut off. And yeah, the garage is crazy, guys. I move stuff around again.
Kidding.
Doing the Spark Life. To get Spark Life stickers like people have Salt Life stickers. Spark Life. Maybe I want to buy Spark Life stickers? Probably not.
Actually,
It's invisible. It's invisible.
better. Right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm still thinking about drilling a second hole and using a way bigger piece of hardware to hold the seatbelt.
It's crazy thought. The human body, if you needed to.
You're catapulting 200 pounds.
Yeah, that bolt will hold.
Although if you crash in this car, you probably wish you were dead. Not in it. So I spoke with the safety board, and I've decided that I'm going to remount the seat belt brackets further back with probably hardware 3 times the size of what it has right now. Because to be fair, I really would rather be in it than thrown clear of it if I wreck it. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to tell you why I decided to change it. This is a VW factory seatbelt, which is just a passenger car quality. In theory, that's kind of a race car. So it should probably have bigger than factory, or at least factory size hardware. So this is the retainer that Volkswagen uses like a washer behind the sheet metal to make sure that the seat belts don't pull out in an accident. So I'm gonna make something at least this big to go under the floor and bolt my bracket that you saw me drilling with my broken drill bit through the floor to this retainer, so that if there's an accident, I'm not ejected. Or Melissa, or anybody that borrows a car, they should be in it when they crash. So that's the plan, man. I gotta go to the hardware store. Which will be a whole other shocker, because probably 4 nuts and bolts and 2 big gigantic washers will probably cost $30.
You don't have them in a a stash anywhere?
Not a that. Not for that.
I like that.
It has to be good stuff. Gotta be good stuff. Sounds great. I just do that so I don't lose the bolt that goes with that, because it's the original bolt for the Milwaukee Miracle car. And it should have its original bolt back in its original hole. Alright. Yeah, then I'll do the other side that way then too. Then it'll be good. I'll show you how I did it. So I took the mounting plate out from under the seat bolt, which was up here, and moved the seatbelt mount back here, and then used the acid washer to reinforce it under the floor. It's a big, much bigger piece of hardware to hold on.
Nice.
Way safer. Way better. I just have to find the other seatbelt that I took with me. It's nice on the truck. So I got the driver's side finished, and we'll do an unveiling of the disgusting floor on the passenger side. I don't know if it's as bad as the driver's side was, but I would guess it is, because not great.
That's right. Yeah. Oh.
This is how the other side looks. There's just surface rust from water being underneath the mats. Insurance card. So I'm gonna do what I did over there and just flip this stuff out of the way. Pull the carpet up out of the way. I actually like that I put screws in the corners of the carpet. I think they're nice. Look at it. Under the carpet, oak leaves. Things must blow back that way. Wait, did we clean this car at the leaf blower?
Yeah, the other day you got all mad at me because it blew it in your eyes.
Probably because it blew it in my eyes.
Did I sit on this?
I bet I said that because it blew it in my eyes. You think? This screw doesn't seem so clever now that I can't get it out.
finger music for the helmet. No, bike helmet.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. Nature.
Just a little squirrel's nest.
Probably is. You wonder if they're from, are these Richmond, Virginia? Or PA? That'll do. I'll tape all that stuff back. Look at this.
Be pensive.
Yeah, just looking at it. Marveling at it. Man, nature will take everything back in time. It's unreal. So I'll just vacuum this out and then I'll wire brush it and
What's that attached to?
nothing. It's just in there. To cover the corner and then the other carpet goes over it. Just a space filler.
What's that? That cord.
Where this? Ground for something. I don't know. Don't know. Floor's in good shape. It just looks ugly.
Did you paint that once? Upon a time?
Yeah, 20 years ago. But we drove it 2 hours in the rain, so all that water. What I really should do is put a half-inch drain hole at the lowest part of the floor, and then just a plastic plug in it. Maybe. All right. So one of the things that I'm doing is, and I know I already told you this, that this car was kind of like a low mile car, but it's like a barn find because after I built it, Barry, my friend that built it for, lost interest or just sometimes life changes. I don't even really know why. We kind of didn't even talk about it, but he drove it for a while, a couple years, from 2004 until maybe 2007, and then the car just, it sat in his garage. And when things sit, they rust and, you know, kind of wear from sitting. It's like actually easier for a car if they're continually used. But I already showed you, I went through the floors, stripped the paint with a wire wheel, converted the rust with it's basically acid, and then coated it with a rust encapsulator paint to tidy that up. Got the oak leaves that were probably from Georgia out of there, or not Georgia, Richmond, Virginia. But anyway, one of the other things that was irritating on this car since we got it back from the barn was that the seat sliders didn't work. So while the seats are out, I'm gonna address the seat sliders not working, and I'm very sure, because I already fixed the other side, that it's just surface rust inside this track that makes them drag. You see I can, with a great effort, I can move it. And it's got, you know, they're pretty nice sliders. There's ball bearings in there. I don't know if you can, unless I can show you. There is a ball bearing. And they're not super rusty. Can you get that? Yeah, right there. And then again, same here. So what I'm gonna do is just soak them with rust penetrant, and that'll sort of dissolve the surface rust, because it's mostly surface rust and probably dirt mixed with really dry grease that make them not want to slide. But the other one, I sprayed it and it sat for probably 2 hours, and I came back and the problem was solved. The slider worked really good again. So I'm just gonna use this stuff from my luxurious display of cans. This is most of the big shops that you see have really luxurious displays of their cans. But anyway, then I never used this stuff before. It is very luxurious here. I'm sure everybody can tell. The neighbor guy is awesome, and he actually ordered this for me and brought it over because it was such good stuff in his day when he was working on stuff. And I gotta tell you, it's really good. And I think he got me 3 cans. This is the last one. I'm gonna order more from that place online.
That place online.
No. So anyway, I'm just gonna soak it, and I get a little worried about dripping down in there, so I'm gonna rig a towel up. This car is so nice, I actually have to be like careful. Which, if you've been following along, you know that probably not always careful. So I put a bib on it. This is a rust penetrant bib. All the big coach builders use them. Do a little clamp action here. Fold the bib up. Put the bib on this. All right, here we go. Rich Fox, thank you if you're watching. I'm just trying to get it to flow downhill into all the nooks and crannies, like a Lego waffle. Lego, here you go. A Lego waffle would not be that delicious. See, I don't know if everybody's as old as me. Just the Eggo waffle commercials were funny. Never mind. Never mind. Let's just spray this. Let's concentrate. I know, it's a lot, right? Now, I'm tempted to start going jiggle, 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 moving it. I'm going to let it soak in. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to walk away. All right. Come back later. I'll show you how it works.
What was that?
I should have the microphone on so people can hear all my stupidity. Like Lego waffles or the day I ripped my pants like SpongeBob. A lot of stuff happens here. All right. See ya.
Say it again.
I'll show you quick what I'm going to do, and then you come back when it's finished because it's going to be boring and tedious. In an air-cooled engine, you have to separate the air that goes in to cool the engine from the air that comes off the engine. In an air-cooled engine like this one, the cool air is drawn in by the fan through these grills. Can they see them? Through these grills into this fan right here, this runoff, this pulley, and pushes it down across the hot engine to cool it off, and then the air shoots out from under the car toward the rear. These plates separate the top air from the bottom air. And again, it's no big deal.
Where they go?
Well, they're not in the right place. I'll struggle off camera and get them in, and then you guys come back and think that's super easy. But if they're not in there, the car will overheat. So I'm going to do that off camera because I'm going to struggle. And you probably can tell my struggles are real. It's all good. Come back and see me when they're done. Talk about my frustrations.
Go ahead.
Melissa just said I should talk about my frustrations if I want. I could go on for hours, but that's not helpful. Let me show you what I got. Remember those stuck seat rails from sitting around in the barn? Or Barry's garage. Sounds more dramatic saying barn, but it was Barry's garage in Richmond, Virginia. I sprayed the Castle or whatever on there, and look how good that works. That's 2 fingers. They're very strong fingers, but 2 fingers move it. Then I have this propped open, but look at it. So you see the work good down. And time lapse. All this sheet metal's in here. And I was thinking about it while I was doing this. These panels are the ones I showed you from before that were sitting in the car that I had to put in to separate top air from the bottom air. But the crazy part is I dreaded it so bad, like it was the most complicated thing a human could ever do on this planet. And I put it off for like 2 weeks. And when I did it, it took 20 minutes. And it's funny, it's like I made the panels, I knew they fit, but for some reason I decided that it was going to be a big problem. And I think that that's something that people do when they work on projects or decide to change something. It's like somehow you concoct this story in your head about this ultra complicated, painful process. And to be honest, it wasn't easy. I had to use the jack and blocks of wood, but 20 minutes? not worth putting it off for 2 weeks. So anyway, that's all sealed up and ready to go. And then I got distracted and I took this apart because the set screw that keeps this is the turn signal switch on the steering column. The set screw that keeps that tight was not gripping right, and it irritated me for 2 years. So I took it apart, took it to the vise to modify it, tapped it once with a hammer, turned it over, tapped the other side, and it flew into the oblivion. So now I have to get I have to dig down one of my boxes of spare parts and get a spare one. But anyway, that'll get fixed. It needs to be fixed. So I got that cooking. And I dropped something else. The tiny little, I have this roll of tape to hold that wire on. The tiny little nut that goes on that slipped through my very nice calloused fingers. And it also went into the oblivion hole. So I gotta get one of those. But I'm still gonna try and get the seat belts remounted like I showed you on the other side. And my new super slidey seat back in there today. So I'll show you when I'm done.